What? Excuse me. Is that mine? Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Up On It. I'm Charlene. So yeah, I've been a bit MIA this past month, past few months really. I've been active, it's been a busy time, but I'm back to regularly program scheduling. And so today's video is going to be for those of you guys who have just gone to university. So all the freshers, so I know that people are coming out of Freshers Week now, or Freshers 2 weeks for some of the unis, into the real academic life and real academic study, going to lectures and seminars and workshops for the first time, and kind of navigating where your place is in all of that, having fun and being on top of your academics, and also building new relationships with people who are very different from you sometimes. I mean, you're probably gonna know pretty soon, if you don't already, that everybody wasn't raised like you, and it's about how to balance all of that and juggle all of that and survive and thrive in this first year so that you leave sane, at least. Quite interesting experiences with different people when I was at university. So to give you a bit of context and a bit of background, so I come from the East End of London, so I grew up in East London, right, and then we moved to the suburbs, and so I've had quite different experiences of growing up in different environments. So those of you guys who know East London, particularly shout out to Leytonstone, that I grew up in Leytonstone in the early 2000s. It wasn't the nicest place, so we moved to the suburbs and I went to a very nice school, and it was just a very different environment. Everybody was the same, cookie cutter. Then I decided that I didn't want to be in that environment anymore, so when I went to university, I went somewhere where everybody was very different, you know, different colour hair, tattoos, like I thought it was cool. I was into the alternative thing. And so you meet a lot of very interesting different characters and very interesting different people, and I realised how sheltered I'd been. The first time I went to a party and people were blowing balloons, I thought, and I was thinking, well, this is nice that they're having balloons at this party. And my friend that I was with was like, sis, they're doing laughing gas, like this is not, they're not blowing balloons for banter, no, they're doing drugs. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And so you realise that people are different, and it's about navigating how you fit into all of that. What are you gonna do? What are you not gonna do? What do you want to experiment with? What do you not want to experiment with? And I had experiences before where it had made me decide, okay, this is my line, I'm not crossing this line, I'm not budging from this is what I will not do, and this is what I'm happy to explore in. So I think it helps. So I think it's important to know that before you go in. I remember as well, one of the accommodations on campus, shout out to East Slope, which is not East Slope anymore, it was literally like a commune, right, in that people didn't lock doors. So people, I didn't live there, but I had friends who lived there, people would just stroll in and stroll out of people's houses like it was normal. I am a very private person. I don't understand how you can just walk into somebody's house, but that doesn't, what do you mean you're just coming, hi, are you just, and you know, it happened. And I remember one time we were hanging out at one of my friend's houses in East Slope, hi Stephanie, and her housemate literally walked in and took her jollof rice that she had brought from her home, her jollof rice, and proceeded to warm it and eat it like it was his. I said, what's going on here? This is not normal behaviour. And she had to be like, what? Excuse me, is that mine? And I was like, oh yeah. Like, okay, sure, yeah, like look, this is what we're doing apparently. I remember one time, okay, I like Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream. I just enjoy it. And it's not cheap. It's over £5. To spend £5 on ice cream when you're a student, it's a lot of money. To spend £5 when you're not a student, it's a lot of money. And one time I finished my exams, you know, I just thought, let me get this Ben & Jerry's, it's my treat to myself. I put it in the freezer. I went out for a few hours, friends. I came back and there was maybe one scoop of Ben & Jerry's left in that freezer. My heart. I left the house. I went to my friend Joseph's house. Shout out to you, Joseph. First thing I would say is to make sure that you try and develop a positive living atmosphere. So you are not going to be best friends with your housemates, so that's absolutely fine. Like, you're not going to like everybody, and that's okay. You're all strangers, you've been thrown into a house together, and you have to figure it out. So the best thing you can do is all agree on things that make you comfortable and things that make you uncomfortable. So I would say the first thing you should do is call a residential advisor if you have that at your university, or just call a house meeting and just kind of lay it all out there. You know, say what you're uncomfortable with, say what you're happy to do. So for me, for example, I don't mind people using my stuff so long as you wash it and put it away. Don't come to my room without knocking. Or don't come to my room at all, actually. But that was stuff that was important to me, but for other people that I lived with, other things were important to them. And so I think you have to be able to establish that first of all, so that everybody knows where everybody stands. The worst thing is when you don't say it at all because you don't want to offend anybody, you don't want to step on anyone's toes, and then in the next few weeks and upcoming months you just hate all your housemates because everybody's getting on your nerves and it's too late to now bring it up. So from the beginning, just say, look guys, like, we all want to live in a nice environment, so this and this is important to me, and I would love to hear what is important to you so that we can all maintain a healthy relationship and a positive house. So do that first, and again, if you've got a residential advisor, get them to come and attend and just kind of be a neutral energy around, just a positive force who's going to encourage everybody to speak. So make sure that you do that, because the worst thing you can do at uni is just not live in a pleasant house. It's really, really awful. The second thing I would say is mind your business. Keep your business to yourself, particularly if you live on a campus. So at my old university, everyone lived on, all the freshers lived on campus, which means news travels fast, particularly in social media days. And when I was uni, that's when social media, Twitter and everything was like popping off, Facebook was popping off, and so anything that happened, it would get around like this. So keep your business to yourself. Like, I was one of those people where, yeah, people knew my face and they knew my name, and I was involved in like the ACS society, and so, like, you know, I was active, but like aside from the basic stuff, people didn't know the details of my life, and I liked it like that. That is how I wanted to maintain it. So keep your business to yourself, because you do not want to say the wrong thing to the wrong person and then everybody on campus knows. My next top tip about relationships. Child, listen. I am one of those people when I was at uni that I said, me, you will not get me. You will not get me in uni when it comes to that side of things. So I think it's important that you recognise first and foremost that everybody's not there to have a serious relationship. So don't put your whole heart and soul into a relationship. Don't feel like forced to have a relationship at any point during university. It's really okay to just have fun and hang out with your friends. Like, it's really, really okay. In fact, it will even save you sometimes. So don't feel that kind of pressure. Like, you know, most relationships don't last that long when you're at uni anyway, because people are not looking for serious relationships. Some do. I know a few people who've got married, but don't put that kind of pressure on yourself and feel like you have to get this, you have to find a man, you have to no. Sis, you're there to get your degree. That's your priority. If a nice young man comes into your life, and that's fine, but don't force it. Don't force it. It's kind of more relating to academics, so it's deciding what you want straight away. So decide, I came here to get this grade or this grade. This is what I want out of my first year. This is what I want out of my final degree. This is why I'm here. Remember that, remind yourself of that when it gets stressful, and it will get stressful sometimes. Decide what you want and stick to it. Don't budge from it, because there will be things that distract you. You might have a part-time job, you might get into a relationship, your friends might distract you, anything. So you have to, in yourself, from the beginning, make up your mind, this is what I'm here for, this is what I came to do. If you have to write it down and stick it on a board somewhere above your bed so that you know every day, that is what you need to do to make it through. So yes, decide what it is that you want and don't budge from it, don't compromise. But you will be surprised about how hard it is sometimes to just sit down and do the work that you need to do, because there will be things that are there to distract you. So tying in with the previous point of actually deciding what it is you want, actually carve solid times to your work. Don't just say, oh, do you know what, I'll do it at some point today. No, Literally, if you had to be, so I had lectures usually in the morning, and I had some back-to-back lectures on most days. So I would usually go to my lectures, and then I would go to work. So I worked for the university, and then I would go to the library, or sometimes it was the other way around. So if I knew from 2 to 5, this is what I'm doing, this from 5 to 8, this is what I'm doing, it helped me. I didn't always stick to it, which was the problem. So I'm telling you, stick to it. Because there were times where I was like gung-ho. When I was doing my masters, I was like, this is my timetable. Every day I'm going to be doing this amount of work. When I was doing my undergraduate, I didn't learn that until my final year. So I've kind of been on both ends of the spectrum, and the best thing is to carve out time and say, do you know what? These are my hours that I'm doing every day. Know your pattern as well, and create a timetable or something that's going to help you stick to it, and make sure that you're doing your time every single day, and that you're actually spending time to do work. Because in this day of streaming and Netflix, like I remember when I was at uni, I would, at that time, Ugly Betty, One Tree Hill, Glee, those are like, listen, I could spend hours watching them if I did check myself. And so make sure you're checking yourself, and make sure that you are really carving out time to actually do your work. I'm not good at working in my room, even to this day. That's like my calm time that I want to chill out. So even now, if I'm working from home, I have to go to a cafe, I have to go somewhere else, and just kind of get away from a comfortable environment and go to a working environment. So if you know you're like that, accept that very quickly, and know, do you know what, if I sit here in my room and I say I'm going to do my work, I'm not going to do it. So go to the library. My next tip is to engage with your professors and your academic advisors and your tutors and the older years. My goodness, don't feel silly for asking for help. Go to office hours, get help. One of the biggest things that transformed my academic life was when I went to a tutor who helped me structure my writing, and that even to now has informed the way that I write. When I do write, I think of the formula that she taught me. And so when you need help with something, take it on board and actually go to get that help that you need, because it can be the difference between grades. The next tip, this was everything to me. Surround yourself with good people, like genuine friends, genuine people. Sometimes when you're at uni, you know, you don't really know, and so you have to be careful with your friends. Like I was very careful about who I let around me and who I said things to, and sometimes you have to be okay to not have good friends straight away. You have to feel people out, you know, get that discernment, you know, make sure that you are surrounding yourself with the right people, because it makes a huge difference to how much you enjoy it. Like I had such a great time at uni because of the people that were around me. I had people who would be like, Charlene, get it together, get up, go and do your work. I had people who would have fun with. I would have people who I would just sit and talk to about what was going on. I had people who would show up at my house at the right time when I just was not on it, and people who would encourage me, and people who I would encourage and speak to. So you need to make sure that you surround yourself with good people. Sometimes for whatever reason, we end up with people who are just there for the drama. You know, someone can be a fun person, but you know they're not good for you. So just apply wisdom and use your discernment and say, do you know what, person A, like she's fun, like we get on, we have a laugh, but do you know what, maybe I'm not gonna wanna sit down and tell her all my deepest, darkest secrets. The next thing is to really take care of yourself. So for most people, it's the first time you've been away from home, and it's the first time you're looking after yourself. Now, freshers flu is real. I was sick for about a month when I first went to uni because I wasn't sleeping. I was staying up all night and sleeping till like midday. I was not eating well at all. So those of you guys who know me at uni, I mean, I was not eating well at all. And so, you know, I was, yeah, you're trying to navigate everything, and sometimes that can fall to the wayside. So if you need to exercise, move your body. If you need to eat better, make better choices. At the end of the day, what you're eating when you're at university, you're using a lot of your brain. So you need to make sure that you're eating well. You need to make sure you're exercising or just moving your body. You need to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health. It's so important. You've got deadlines, there's pressure, you get anxious, you worry about stuff. There's pressure from yourself, there's pressure from academics, there's all kinds of pressure. So you need to make sure that you are taking care of your mental health. If you need to go to counselling, if you need to go to therapy, that really helps. If you need to, anything that you need to do to make sure that you are feeling balanced and you're feeling good, make sure that you do that. My next top tip, you don't have to go to every party. You don't have to go to every party. Every party does not have to be attended. You don't have to go to every party. You don't have to go everywhere. And that for me was so freeing, because I think sometimes when you first go into uni, you think that you need to be out all the time with everyone, you need to be turning up, and actually sometimes it's exhausting and also, quite frankly, boring. I would go to things, I'm like, why am I here? Like, I would be having so much more fun if me and some of the girls were just in my room chilling, watching movies and eating popcorn. Like, I would be so much happier to do that. And so sometimes you have to be honest, that every party is not fun. There were so many countless times where I would walk home from going out and just be like, I've just wasted like 6 hours because that was not fun. No one was nice. Like, it just was not where I wanted to be, where I should have been probably at that time. And so it's important that you recognize that. Yes, FOMO is real, but for the most part you're not missing out on anything major, and actually makes it quite nice, because then when you do go out, when you do have fun with your friends and all of that, it's actually something that's memorable because you're all there to have fun. When you do it too much, it gets old very, very quickly. There's going to be times where you definitely will be left out if you choose to make different choices, or you choose to live a different lifestyle at some points. That's okay, own it. At the end of the day, no one is walking through your life but you. No one is making the decisions for you except for you, and you know why you're choosing to make those decisions. So do what makes you feel the best and the most balanced, and what protects you as a person. You know, there might be times or seasons in your life where maybe it's probably not the best for you to be out all the time. There might be times where you need to get out a little bit more. So really kind of do that analysis on yourself as you go through uni and make those choices for yourself. Okay guys, so those are some of my top tips from my experiences at university. I hope that helped you. I think for me, university was a time of growth. It wasn't always easy. I mean, overall I have the best memories and I had the best time, and I couldn't imagine going anywhere else. It was beautiful, and it was fun, and yeah, but you know, it's sometimes also challenging. You know, you're learning yourself as a person, you're growing as a person, you're changing as a person, and growth can be painful sometimes. And so for everybody who is making choices for their own growth, and you are separating yourself sometimes from what the masses are doing, and you're making different choices because you want to live a different life, do you. Like, sometimes you're going to feel alone, sometimes you're going to feel like no one else understands what you're doing, sometimes you feel very separate from people in the way that you do things, and you feel like you're standing out. It's okay. That's all I'll say. It's okay. Ride it out. It's not always going to be easy, but grit your teeth sometimes. You're going to make it through. You're not going to be at uni forever, and the things that you learn and the things that you intentionally learn, you'll always carry with you if you want to. So make sure that you are learning your lessons, and make sure that you are pushing through, and make sure that you are creating good habits for yourself, because it will stand you in good stead in the future. So if you have any questions, email me at stayinguponit@gmail.com, and I will see you soon. Follow me on my socials. Everything is at Staying Up On It. You can type in on Google at Staying Up On It and stuff will pop up, but yeah, at Staying Up On It for everything. I'm usually on my Instagram, so slide in my DMs if you have any questions, and I will see you guys soon. See ya.